Live. We are live.
Love it.
Let me hop over onto your profile.
Yeah, let me retweet this real quick. That's something I've been slacking on is retweeting it. That would help. So as we get better at this,
I potentially have hooked my computer to a new source of internet tonight.
Ooh.
I ask everybody that is watching to let me know if I am still freezing every 30 seconds because I will be pissed. So we're going to start off today with some, first, this is the brown shirt of the week. Here we go.
Love it.
There we are. That's where we're going. We're repping the Jarvis Landry. I thought about wearing my Nick Chubb jersey. I guess that's happening next week. So we have a contest, an awesome contest giveaway going on. It is pinned to the top of my profile. My Twitter is right there.
Yep.
Over on our YouTube channel, for some of you may be watching on the YouTube channel, we started the day at 69 subscribers.
We did.
I swear to God, I'm 30, not 12. We started at 69 subscribers. I said once we get to 100 subscribers, we are going to give away an awesome GV Artwork Myles Garrett t-shirt. GV Artwork is amazing. They make amazing shirts. I wear tons of them. I own several of them. So if you go over to my profile on Twitter, the top, there's a pinned tweet that will tell you about the giveaway. Simply follow me, follow Nick, retweet the tweet. Once we hit 100 subscribers, I will randomize all the numbers and we will send you a shirt.
Their playoff shirt from when the Browns beat the Steelers is probably my favorite Brown shirt of all time. Just saying.
There you go. We're starting early. If people are curious, it's Chris Baspel, Angry Orchard. There we go. That's where we're at. That's what we're drinking tonight.
I'm pretty boring over here. So Jacob knows, and I don't know if everyone else does, but I sleep during the day because of my work. So I've got my like 1980s-ish coffee mug here going, and then just agua. We got both sides going.
It's really funny because episode 1 of our show, you got called out like 30 seconds in. Nick, why are you double fisting? And he's like, guys, it's okay. One's coffee, one's water. I'm being healthy. I swear to God.
Try it.
He's like, I'm doing it. All right, guys. So if you haven't already, go over to my pinned tweet after you subscribe to our YouTube channel, retweet it, follow me, follow Nick. And you will get you guys entered to win a t-shirt. We already had one guy. He was like, hey, I subscribed. I don't want to win the t-shirt. He was like, don't give it to me, give it to somebody else. And I was like, I thought that was really cool.
And so you're one of 99, right? So your odds are not like, like normally in like a jersey giveaway or whatever, you're like one of a few thousand or whatever. But here you're one of 99. So you got good odds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I had a question from my uncle who watched last week asking if we were doing a show again this week. And I just had to let him know real quick that we were, and we are currently doing it.
Every Tuesday, man. Here we are.
Every Tuesday. So it won't be the only giveaway. Like I promise you guys that it's not going to be the only opportunity to do that. Okay.
I like the opportunity to give back. So I would like to continue that.
So let's get us on track. Here is our rundown today. We're going to talk Marvin Wilson. It's time to do the Marvin Wilson deep dive. I'm very excited. I watched a ton of film on him, even more film than I watched on Tony Fields the week before.
Wow.
Nick Chubb. We're going to talk about Nick Chubb. How valuable is he? Is he different than the other running back contract conversations? Where we are on that, we'll kind of talk about that. We're going to talk about potential cap casualties. I did a poll dealing with potential cap casualty that they're going to be faced with next year in regards to Denzel Ward, Wyatt Teller, and Nick Chubb. And we're going to talk about the results of that poll, why I sort of agree with that poll and sort of don't agree with that poll. We've got more things to talk about. Other than that, I am actually going to make Nick mad tonight.
Oh, boy.
He does not know about this.
I don't.
We're going to talk about something he is very passionate about on Twitter, that I'm not completely on board with.
Okay. Yeah, excited to find out. Curveballs, right?
We are going to address what happened on Twitter last night. We're going to address it quickly, swiftly, and without attention to the assholes that started it. I mean, really, it's you. So I will say a real quick thing about it, and then the floor is yours, because I mean, it is your situation. The best way to try to get someone to work for you is not to plagiarize their work. If I was like, hey, you know what? There's this dude. Like, I do parking enforcement. That's what I do in my day job. If I was like, there's this dude that really loves writing tickets. Like, I mean, it's probably not the same thing. I don't know how to tie that in there. But like stealing his work, and this is a good point here. I'm going to try. I will get him mad. Just you wait. Trust me. Trust me. You don't know what I'm going to disagree with yet. You don't know.
He's known me for quite a long time, AJ has. So, yeah, I'm very curious about this.
If anybody's out there, am I freezing or am I playing through? Like, I know my audio works, but is my visual freezing here and there, or are we good there? If anybody hears that and could drop in there, that'd be great. It always looks good for me. Like, it never freezes on me, but then like I watch the replay and I'm like, wow. Yeah. And then I always get frozen like a face like this. Mm-hmm. I know, like, it's the most unflattering thing ever. So, plagiarism, our dude, coming to the rescue. It's always Ed.
I would like to say shout out to Ed, because the reason I saw it in the first place is Ed hopped into my DMs and was like, "Hey, you should check this out." And I was like, "Oh," so that's kind of where things started. So thank you, Ed. Because I don't follow them to begin with, because I've just seen that there's been some very they have a history, right? And so that is not someone that I typically would associate with.
They stole from you a month ago, correct? Is that fairly accurate? That happened?
Yes, I want to say so. They did. I think it was the Aaron Rodgers tweet, or the Baker Mayfield tweet about like Aaron Rodgers. I want to say that's the one.
Yes.
But they responded to public pressure that time, and at least added they tagged me like beneath it, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know this counts kind of whatever, but at least they're like putting me there. Sure, whatever. Okay, I'm moving on. This is not worth the time.
If you think I post ridiculous stuff on my timeline, you should see the things I post in my DMs. My uncle coming in through here let me know that my video is good. That is great. That is great. I'm happy for that. Okay. So I will say one last thing. I was blown away by the support Nick got. Like, it just shows how awesome Brown's Twitter is. I'm not going to give them any more attention. Whoa, what is this? Okay. Did you see my tweet about that? It went viral and got it. No, I did not.
Hi, Colin, by the way.
Yeah, hi, man. Could you send, like, to me or Nick? Could you send that in our
I would love to see that.
Yeah, DM
Colin's my dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great.
But so just kind of bouncing off of you, I really didn't know that. I don't think it's sunk in yet that like literally like every corner of Brown's Twitter what seemed to be weighing in on this, and I said it this morning, but I have to say it again. It's incredibly humbling to the most valuable thing you can give to someone is your time.
Yeah. And
so for so many people to spend the time to stick up in my defense, I mean, I can't tell you how much that means to me. And so I was thinking about it, and it you know what? It just shows what a special group of people we have and are a part of. And I could not ask to be a part of a better group of people. So thank you to everybody. It means so much to me because we all and I know everyone in here to some extent, spends time creating something. I don't care what it is, whether it's on Twitter or whatever it is you create. You spend time on that. And so you deserve the fruits of your labor. You all do. And so for someone to rob people of that and consistently do it with just zero more, that's not okay.
And showed pride in doing it. They showed pride in what they did.
We are better than that.
Yeah.
And I think that collectively, we as a group showed that we're better than that. And I'm going to check Colin, my DM from Colin right now.
Yeah, he just sent in there that he did send that to you.
Yeah. So thank you is what I'm trying to say.
Congrats on the 10K. Yes. So I'm not even going to say anything else on it. I'm not giving them any more airtime. I'm not giving them any more attention. They did lose over 6,000 followers last night.
Yeah.
So I just feel that like sweet justification has been done. So
sorry, Colin did send it to me, and I see like it's a recording of the herd, but I can't actually like listen to it without that audio coming through. I guess I could play it.
Play it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we got.
Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
I'm sorry if this is bad.
I'm very interested. A little bit of dead space. Is it playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not coming through.
Got it.
Okay. Well, we will. So you'll have to send that to me and tweet it out after the show.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Colin. But we will definitely we will come locked and loaded with it. In our future episode.
Well, actually, if you want, you could send that to me and I can share my screen and we can see if that'll work.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. A good question. We'll answer this while you do that. How do we feel about Mac Wilson? Is he a cap casualty or do we think he makes the roster? Okay, so I would not call him a cap casualty solely because he's on a rookie contract, but I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. And this is what I think about Mac Wilson. I love Mac Wilson, the dude. Doesn't seem to be quite as many people that embrace Cleveland the way he embraced Cleveland from the get-go. He's always quick to say he's going to put in the work. He clearly has been putting in the work. If you see it, he is one of the people that there's only been a few rumored people that will be to voluntary OTAs next week. He is one of them right now that is confirmed will be there. He clearly knows that he has to step up his play. I will not sugarcoat it. Mac Wilson was terrible. He was absolutely terrible last year. I want Mac Wilson to be good so damn bad. I don't know how the preseason plays out, and I don't know how training camp plays out. But as of this moment right now, no, I do not think Mac Wilson makes the roster.
You know what? I think so. Mac Wilson is primarily going to be used as a coverage linebacker. Would you say that's correct, Jacob?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so you re-signed Malcolm Smith, who also is a coverage linebacker. You drafted JOK, who will most likely be operating in some type of hybrid coverage type role. Mm-hmm. And you also have Tony Fields now, who we just went through last week, who a lot of people are at the very least excited about.
Especially on special teams, at least.
Yeah. So if I had to guess, I would imagine that Tony Fields and Mac Wilson are fighting for that roster spot.
Yeah, I'd say so.
How that plays out, I'm not sure. I mean, they're both 5th round picks, right? Mm-hmm. Fifth? Yeah. So they're both 5th round picks. Not really sure which way that goes. But Mac clearly knows that he's got a lot of work ahead of him. So we'll see. And that's the beautiful thing about what Andrew Berry's done is the linebacker position, and especially the linebacker position and the defensive line are just filled with guys competing for jobs. And how that turns out, that's what camp's for.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even touched the Malik McDowell, which is a very weird and interesting. It will get to that. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit tonight. Logan weighs in, says that he does not believe he makes the roster. I would say that it is entirely possible that they all make the roster, like Tony Fields and Mac Wilson. But in a situation like that, you have to find a player that doesn't make the roster.
Yeah.
And they have a plethora of offensive linemen. I think that's going to get really weird and interesting to see kind of who makes the 53. I'm not ready to make any kind of 53-man roster predictions, but I mean, when you ended up with 2 linebackers in this draft, it certainly felt like Mac Wilson's days were numbered. And that's not in any way a slight or disrespect on Mac Wilson.
It tells you what they think of the long term of the roster based on who they draft, right? And when you select 2 linebackers and you've already signed Anthony Walker and Malcolm Smith, I mean, I think at that point, they're telling you, hey, like this was a problem last year.
Yeah. And Mac Wilson, he's definitely shown us some flashes. So I would not rule him out. I mean, I never would, especially because he has admittedly, listen, I wasn't good. I need to get better. Yeah. And that's a very mature, those are the guys you want in the building, are the guys that are like, listen, yeah, I was good here or there, but I was mostly like, I don't know, he finished his grades in the 30s or the 40s. So, hey, did you send that over to me?
Oh, did I? I'm supposed to send it over. Sorry.
It's okay.
I thought Colin was sending it to you. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
1 second.
It's all right.
If my Twitter will cooperate.
It never wants to cooperate when you're trying to do things on a quick little thing.
Yeah, I am.
While you do that, I'll just remind anybody that jumped in that wasn't here at the beginning, we are giving away a Myles Garrett GV artwork T-shirt once our YouTube channel hits 100 subscribers. If you go over to my Twitter page there is a pinned tweet at the top that tells you how to enter that contest, and we are good. Colin said, I don't know if I was supposed to. He said, my bad. I was feeding my dog. That is.
I know you're looking at that right now. I just want to say I was talking to a couple of friends this morning, and they brought up to me that for the first time in a really long time, there's probably going to be multiple Browns right now that get cut and make rosters and maybe contribute for other teams, and that really speaks to where our depth has gone.
Okay, guys, here we go. All right, let's look at one of our own on the herd. The only time I will give the herd anything.
He's not. There's lots of likes and retweets on that one. I mean, honestly.
Yes.
I get this one. You don't watch the games. You don't watch all Cleveland games.
No, he doesn't.
The Cleveland Browns were better the fewer times Baker threw. Look up the numbers. He's not a guy that can carry you. Aaron can carry you. Nothing against Baker.
Yikes.
Imagine having that take.
Dude, there's okay, so that's the loop. There's that viral picture that went around that shows Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes over the last 8 weeks, including playoffs, and they're damn near identical statistically. I'm not saying Baker is as good as Patrick Mahomes. I mean, obviously he's not. But all I'm saying is that Baker was clearly damn good down the stretch. And so can he extend that into a full season? That part remains to be seen. but he at least showed us concrete proof that he can play at a very high level. And so I think at the very least that justifies, well, obviously the Browns picked up his 5th-year option, but that justifies going into the next year's thinking, this guy can be elite. Now, can he do it consistently? Big question, but he definitely can be elite.
Yeah, man. I got thrown out there for a second. I'm back in here now. It's these things like you go back and you look at that since if Case Keenum's in the game against Cincinnati, they don't win that game. I don't know how that second Cincinnati game. You say they're better when he's least used, and I can't in any way, shape, or form agree with that. I just
like the Browns. The Browns won the Cincinnati game because of Baker. The Browns won the Titans game because of Baker.
Yep.
The Browns could not, and so granted, I know that the Giants were not a playoff team. I understand that. But the Browns could not get an inch of running space against the Giants. Baker carved them up, right? The stats weren't impressive, but the Giants' defense was good, and they won that game because of Baker. And so I just think about multiple instances through the season, right? When the running game was struggling against Pittsburgh in the playoffs, it was Baker who took them down the field and led them to critical touchdowns. I remember the one to Austin Hooper that continued to generate space. I just don't. Yes, I agree. AJ. Baker's peak is 10 out of 10. The question is just can he maintain that high level of play? And so obviously you're taking a risk, but I think he showed you enough, and he is young enough to where the upside of what the level he was playing at is greater than, okay, let's get 2 years of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. We got a buddy of mine from the Army. Steed's weighing in. What's going on, Steed? Glad to have you here tonight, buddy. All right. Ed's got a question. So we have to get it on the board. You're still froze on my screen, which is so funny because
really?
I know I'm the one that's probably froze for everybody else.
You froze briefly, but you're back now for me. But dude, it was crystal clear before, and now it's gotten like foggy, so you can tell it's kind of struggling. But we're working on it.
Yeah, we're doing what we can do. So Ed wants to know: could Clowney play more inside to stop the run because 4.25 is smaller sized unit? Okay. I talked about this on Twitter and on my podcast that we haven't been doing for a couple of weeks, but the Blue and Orange Football Podcast. I talked about this when Clowney was signed. And I think it was made clear when they moved on from Sheldon Richardson. Jadeveon Clowney is very good on the inside. He is very good against guards. Myles Garrett is very good against guards. I think very much so flexing them in and potentially putting Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney next to each other played a part in the Browns letting Sheldon walk. So yes, I think absolutely, especially on passing downs. I think you could see a situation where it's a passing down where Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Malik Jackson, and Tack McKinley are the four that are playing kind of a mask package.
Absolutely.
I'm going to real quick, Nick, I'm going to reset your feed just so it doesn't mess up for me.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. Yeah, it didn't do anything.
Well, it wouldn't be a show without technical difficulties.
I believe that you're working for everybody else, and that's all that matters. I'm with you there, AJ. This is an important season for Baker. Just be more consistent. Yeah. That's all I need. And I think he will. I think he's in the MVP conversation from start to beginning. Book it on it. Try to use that on freezing cold takes. You won't be able to because he will be. All right. So let's go into a small little subject, a passion of Nick's, and let's see how mad I can make him.
Sure. Let's do it.
So you were talking about the Halloween game.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, no. Sad.
And the advocation for orange jerseys.
Yes.
I am 100% on board for orange jerseys.
Ooh.
I love the orange tops, brown bottoms. My favorite combo is the brown top, orange bottoms. But I am 100% out on all orange unis. I can't do an entire orange uniform. I'm out.
You know what? So I get it. You know, a lot of people say they don't want to look like traffic cones. I get it. But it's anytime you post anything about like a potential orange color rush, it's like people weigh in from the boonies, you know, everyone comes in to say, you know, what they think one way or the other.
I didn't know that was what you did to bring out everybody. Like that was what you needed to do.
I'm telling you, I've posted about it a couple times, and every time it's like you just get massive responses. People are passionate one way or the other. But dude, I think you gotta try it. Let's do it once. You know, like just give it to me one time. Let's kick the Steelers' ass on Halloween, and let's do it in all orange. Just you know, see how it feels.
Well, and then you have to, like, every time you play the Steelers, you have to wear all orange unis. I mean, that's just how you have to do it if that's where we go. All right, I had to get that housekeeping out of the way. I had to say it.
I just want to say, because ever since they made this, like this, the orange, you know, like this would be fun. This, like, not like the old orange, but like I'm just saying, like this darker, more intense orange, I think it would be great. That I'll die on that hill. That's okay. Yeah,
That's okay.
Agree to disagree, totally fine.
I don't know what it is, and I was the same way about the all brown unis. I wasn't crazy about that either. I don't know. I like a little. I don't know. I too much of one thing. It's not that the orange is bad. I think it's just too much of just one thing, and I think that's where I stand on that one.
The Stripes make those jerseys. By the way, quick side note. I wish I could credit him, but I can't remember who tweeted it out today. But the Odell Beckham striped color rush jerseys were on sale for $25 at the team shop today.
I want to say it was Michael Keeley.
I think you are correct. He
usually is really on top of deals on Browns merch. It's usually jersey related, but I mean, dude's really good about that. Really good about putting that kind of that stuff out there for everybody to find. Okay, I'm really excited about this. Let's get into the deep dive on Marvin Wilson.
Yes, please.
I said last week that we were going to do a series, and we'll continue it next week. And of course, right now, that we were going to go through a deep dive of every individual draft pick. I picked Marvin Wilson to be on this list as well because the excitement and the amount of guaranteed money that they gave him, he really feels like a 6th round draft pick. That's what he was paid like.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do this, and here we are, individual takes. Marvin Wilson. I had a lot of fun. This scouting report is bigger than Tony Fields. I probably watched twice the amount of film, and I rewatched a lot of things because I was like, did I see that? Like, he's not perfect. He was undrafted for a reason.
Yeah.
But I really think so. All right, if you all are ready, I will give you my scouting report on Marvin Wilson. Okay. So the very first thing, oh boy, I'm getting feedback like crazy. All right, there we go. So the very first thing that jumps off is, and I'll say this, if you go back to his 2019 tape and his 2018 tape, it's a lot better than the 2020 tape. So I'm going to do some things off of that tape, and then I'll kind of address where I think some of the things went wrong in the 2020 tape, and then kind of talk about this. He matched up Jets left tackle Mekhi Becton in 2019. Mekhi Becton, I did a lot of work on as a potential target for the Browns at 10 last year, and I'm sure you're very familiar with him as well. Mekhi Becton is a mammoth.
Yes, he is.
What is he, like 6'7", 330? Like,
I was gonna say he's over 6'6".
I don't know but he is a monster. I watched Marvin Wilson on a couple of different plays throw Mekhi Becton to the ground. He grabbed a hold of this absolute mammoth, and this is his best move. If he uses it, and he uses it plenty, it is very effective. He is very effective at the push-pull technique. He will get up in them and pull and shed them down to the ground. And he tossed Mekhi Becton like he was a tight end.
He did.
Immediately seeing that, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see where the people that are hyped about him are hyped. That just jumps off. He tossed Mekhi Becton to the outside. In 2020, they play, especially if you go back and watch his film against Miami this year, they played him at D end.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know. Somebody got on Twitter and told me that it was because there was a coaching change, and we know that Marvin Wilson had kind of a spat with the new coaching staff that may have led to him falling. But I'm trying to see where I was. They played him at D end a lot. He's 6'5", 6'6", well over 300 pounds. Like, I'm just sorry, that's not a defensive end to me. They played him out of position. He still played relatively well at that position, but not nearly what he played on the inside. He two gaps really, really well. And for I had to have the science of the two gap. If they single covered him, and his responsibility is his right and his left, both gaps on either side of him, he played it beautifully. You could see him moving back and forth, and then he would respond to the right way, throw the guy the other way, and go. His two-gap ability is elite, in my opinion. Now, he almost very, very rarely gets single-teamed, which is the right call because he is a mammoth. Yeah. He two gaps really well. His motor for his size is pretty decent. He gets to the quarterback if he doesn't stop. Now, effort sometimes lags. That is a knock on him. But for a big 300-plus pound man, he probably has better stamina than I do. Which is not impressive to be better than me. Let's preface that. But that's where he stands on that part.
Can I add that when Sheldon Richardson came to the Browns, effort was one of the questions that was with him, and we saw him for 2 straight years. Play huge amounts of snaps and give everything he had, day in and day out. So that does give me a little more confidence that these guys with effort questions, that's something that the Browns can solve.
And it seems like these guys, especially like JOK and Newsome and some of these new people being brought in, that Joe Woods teaches explosion, speed, and effort, right? Like that's what I keep hearing. That's what came out of rookie minicamp. So he takes double teams really well. You're not going to push Marvin Wilson back. You're just not going to do it. A major issue in the middle of our defensive line last year was Sheldon and Larry. They got pushed around at times. At times, they got their asses kicked. You are not going to push Marvin Wilson around. Not with two people. He's just going to be in the way. And what does that do? They bounce out to Jadeveon Clowney, who is really good at setting the edge. They bounce out to Myles Garrett. And even if those guys don't make the play, you have these fast, free-flowing linebackers like JOK and Jacob Phillips to clean that up. The fit of Marvin Wilson in this defense makes this an even better pickup, in my opinion. Like, not everybody I would have such a high opinion on them acquiring Marvin Wilson, but I really, really love his fit. He has reoccurring injury concerns. There was only one season where he didn't miss at least one game. He played in 4 seasons. He only didn't miss one time. That has a lot to do with the falling, but as a rotational piece, you aren't asking him to do as much, which helps with the durability concerns.
Yeah.
He gets his hands up to disrupt the passing lanes. I would not call him a pass rusher, but he's also got very big hands, very long arms, and he is very, very good at disrupting the passing lanes. And he's strong, man. He's very strong. He does not get pushed around. I love the signing, and that's my scouting report on Marvin Wilson.
So, something that's great about him is that as an undrafted free agent and as somebody that could be considered a late pick, he might need to contribute on special teams. And shout out to Pete Smith. I read his scouting report on Marvin Wilson.
Hey, you went first.
Oh, good. Marvin Wilson blocked 3 kicks.
Yes.
On special teams.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at another guy. There's added value there, especially when we already referenced that the defensive tackle is probably the most competitive position of all on the Browns right now. So anything you can add is going to give you an edge to make the team.
And I said this last week about Tony Fields. Tony Fields makes the team on special teams, and I think Marvin Wilson, I'm not going to guarantee anybody a roster slot, but Marvin Wilson, I would be a lot more hesitant to say that he doesn't make the team than I am to say Mac Wilson doesn't make the team. And that doesn't mean it completely flips in camp in the preseason. I don't want to say that, but like Marvin Wilson is – there's a lot to like there, especially because you realize he's not being brought in to be a superstar. I don't know that he ever becomes a superstar. Let me be clear about that. But, buddy, the dude can play.
Speaking to just how competitive it's going to be. I didn't hear him say this, but I was reading about it. I guess Nathan Zagura got a look at a lot of the guys that the Browns brought in, and he said Malik McDowell is in phenomenal shape and looks like he's ready to come in and contribute immediately. So I love, I know he has his own sets of issues, right? And that can be, but I mean, you're talking about all these guys that and then, Square from the Chargers. Yeah. So you're yet another guy. It is crazy how many defensive tackles are sitting. It's like who I don't know. It's going to be fun.
A defensive tackle.
I know.
I was listening to Andy Lytle's podcast, Not the Same Old Browns podcast, today, and he said something about we've picked up now 29 defensive tackles. Dude, you're going to figure it out if you pick up 29 of them.
Dude, and that kind of segues into kind of where we're going next with your poll. But I just want to say, all Andrew Berry does is bring in linemen, whether it's offensive or defensive. That's literally from day one, he has just bolstered both. And they say, the greatest way to success is to build from the inside out.
You build a team in the trenches.
Yeah. And I can't, I could very well see guys getting cut from either the Browns offensive line or defensive line and going to other teams and contributing there. And so that just tells you how many players they have on those two sides of the ball right now.
You could see a situation where the Browns actually trade guys for late picks instead of trying to acquire guys for picks because their roster isn't set. There's a ton of guys on the line, both sides of the line, that I'm worried about because I want to keep in Cleveland, but there's just not statistically speaking, practically speaking anyway, it's not legitimate and that kind of thing. Quick question over here from Ed in Columbus, our boy. Who gets more playing time, Togiai or Wilson? Very, very interesting thing, and we'll get into this in a couple of weeks when we break down Tommy Togiai as well. Tommy Togiai was probably down the stretch the best player on Ohio State's defense. I think if that was a full season, what did they play, 7 games total, I think?
I think so.
If that was a full season, Tommy Togiai is a day 2 pick at worst. I think he was phenomenal. In this situation, you have guys that are rotating all the way around.
Yeah.
They're doing rotational bases. I would say Togiai, because Wilson, I think, is going to more double as a backup because he does a lot of the same things well that Andrew Billings does.
Yeah.
But I could also see you putting Billings and Wilson together on early downs, or Togiai and Billings and early downs as the run stuffers. But I think Togiai can rush the passer more than Marvin. I think Togiai is just phenomenal. He's just raw. So I think Togiai gets more playing time than Wilson, but it'll be close.
Well, one time, for whatever reason, I just went in and I dug into total snaps played by defensive tackles, and Larry Ogunjobi and Sheldon Richardson were both near the top of like the entire NFL, which is, I mean, they're wearing down throughout the game. Like we saw that in multiple games where all of a sudden, the Raiders could have run Josh Jacobs for 4 yards for 50 more plays if they had wanted to. You could just see the whole defensive line was gassed. And so one of the greatest values here is that, and thank God Richardson and Ogunjobi held up, because there was literally, I mean, like I still have high hopes for Jordan Elliott, but not sure. But there was not much behind them. And then you could see it as they wore on throughout the game. So now you're looking at so I'm not sure. Yeah, I agree with that Togiai is going to play more, but you could be looking at a very much more of a split than we've seen in Cleveland in a long time. Just because they have that depth to utilize.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. There's actual really good rotations. AJ, this is something we've touched on before. I'm with you 100% on this. We finally get to see what Joe Woods got. Listen, the guy got such a bad rep. Yeah, I know some of the things weren't that he did, and some of the defenses he ran were not favorable by other people in certain situations. But I just say this, like, he just didn't have the dudes. Like, he did not have the versatility, and in the level of versatility he is about to have is ridiculous. Yeah. So we were going to talk about the schedule tonight, and I totally left that off the rundown. So we'll try to touch on that at the end.
We've been going through. I mean, I don't know. We got, for it being like off season, we got jam packed topic. That we just have like,
and we have an immensely awesome and special show already planned for you guys next week. I'm telling you. Yeah. We'll announce it later in the week what's going on with that, but that's going to be fun. So let's talk about Cole. Go ahead.
I just want to add, I like Joe Woods, and I'm still hopeful that, with talent, he can run the scheme he wants, because obviously we were not running what Joe Woods wanted to last year. But if he drops Myles Garrett into coverage, I'm throwing my phone through the TV. I'm throwing it through the TV. You have one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL. Do not drop him into coverage. Good God.
I'm just saying, though, if it happens and Myles gets a pick 6, like, I'm coming for you. Like, immediately, I'm going to be like, now what, Nick? Now what are you going to do with your broken phone? That is I agree. Like, it's like every time I see Nick Chubb lined up wide, I'm like, I love the man, but don't put him out there.
Yeah.
The 2 Nick Chubb drops against Kansas City in the playoffs broke my heart.
There was so much green grass in front of him.
Both times.
Like that's the exact play that he killed Pittsburgh on. Like, that he sealed the win.
Yeah, he put him away.
And that's the thing, is you could see that Stefanski called the right play because it was there.
Most times.
Open.
Yeah, I don't. AJ wants you to know that you're wrong.
Fair enough, AJ. Fair enough.
He says you're wrong. That's not what he said. Okay,
I know.
so I put it right there for everybody to see because I'm full of shit. So I pull up the results here of my poll. We're going to talk about it.
Highly debated. Lots of responses. You
Yeah,
love to see it.
we had about 15 or 16 different conversation threads going on in the bottom of it. 1,032 votes, one of my highest polls, and I was very happy with it.
You had one of our former Browns running backs in there, if I remember correctly.
Maybe I did. Maybe Eric Metcalf liked one of my tweets.
Could be possible.
Could have happened. I was like, there's just no way. Like, this is not. But there was the blue check mark and everything. It happened. It was a thing.
Eric Metcalf.
Thing that has happened. Who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Okay, so I threw this out there. I said this is a tough one. I'm not saying this is what happens, but I asked this following question. And anybody who didn't weigh in on the poll but is listening right now that wants to weigh in, please do. So, of the following 3 players who need extended, and you could only re-sign one, hypothetically, I'm not saying they only re-sign one, but for this poll, you can only re-sign one. Who would it be? Denzel Ward, Wyatt Teller, or Nick Chubb? Now, the results, Denzel Ward had 23% of the vote. Wyatt Teller got more of the vote. I was happy to see that he got 14% of the vote. I was happy that he didn't fall by the wayside for some reason.
Okay.
Nick Chubb received 63% of the vote, and he won the poll. So I will start with you, Nick. I know you voted for Nick Chubb, but run down your thoughts on this poll and the thoughts on some of the things that were in the comments.
Okay. So from a pure positional standpoint, right? When you rank cornerback, guard, running back in terms of importance, I understand. I am aware that cornerback is the most important of the 3. And so I get that. But when you look at the 3 players rather than the 3 positions and what they all added to the Browns, Denzel Ward has had issues staying on the field. Wyatt Teller had an array of issues as well. Nick Chubb, I know Nick Chubb had a brief injury, but if I'm not mistaken, he has been healthy his previous 2 years as compared to Ward, who has had concussion issues. Not his fault, but it's just the reality.
And soft tissue
issues. Yes, that too. Oh my God. And we don't really know Wyatt Teller as much because he's only been here for 1 year. So availability is the best ability, in my opinion. And to me, so a lot of people say, well, if you're not going to sign Wyatt Teller, then the run game is going to suffer. But to which I say, we have seen Nick Chubb challenge for a rushing title that was literally ripped away from him in the final week of the season with a bottom 5 offensive line by all accounts.
And a head coach that forgot that he had Nick Chubb on his freaking team.
I hate them both. I hate Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens so much for ignoring.
You had to trade a dude to get Hugh Jackson to put Nick Chubb on the freaking field. Nick Chubb had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Raiders. He had 3 freaking carries.
Just sit on the bench, whatever. Not like they could have won that game. No, whatever. But so all I'm saying is that, people say running backs don't matter. Running backs don't matter. You can get replaceable running backs. You cannot get running backs that succeed with terrible blocking anywhere. You can't. Because if you could, for example, the Buffalo Bills would have been a dominant running team. They weren't. If you could, the Pittsburgh Steelers would have been a dominant running team. They weren't. So to me, when you look at the 3 players and you have to pick one, I'm taking Nick Chubb because we've seen him succeed with poor players around him. And those are special players. At any position where you can stand out despite your teammates being poor around you is important. And then the last thing I want to say is that when you look at why the Browns won games, when you look at the 3 players and you say, okay, why did the Browns win these games? You can point to probably 4 off the top of my head games that Nick Chubb definitively sealed that victory for you. And the guy only played 12 games. So that's like a third of the active games that he has. So to me, and I understand that running back is not as valuable, I'm planting my flag on the Nick Chubb hill. That's where I'm at.
That's where he's gonna die. Okay, so let's catch up on these comments about this situation, and I'll I'll jump off the top rope and give you my take real quick. Chubb is a generational talent like Adrian Peterson and Eric Dickerson. I wholeheartedly believe this to be true.
I do as well.
Excuse me. You look at a guy like Kareem Hunt, who led the league in rushing rookie year, and he didn't look very good behind that same offensive line when Nick Chubb went down.
He didn't.
And that's the difference. AJ weighs in. He says, you break it down, you lose Chubb, you got Hunt. You lose Ward, you got Greg Newsome. That's what I would say. But Greg Newsome's a rookie who hasn't played yet. So when you take it from that part, it's true. It's a very good point. But I'll get into it in a second. So Michael over here says Denzel Ward, the rest can be replaced by trades and drafts. Corners take years to train and get. This is actually, and I'm just going to jump into my point a little bit as we continue down through these comments. This is actually my point as well. The fan brain in me says Nick Chubb, and the football brain in me also wants to say Nick Chubb, but the analytical brain says Denzel Ward. Rookie corners, in most cases, especially if they're asked to be the number one, do not succeed. Now, you have that advantage of 2 more years of Denzel guaranteed. So potentially Greg Newsome is ready to take over that role. But if Greg Newsome is more of a boundary corner, or, he has to, maybe Greg Newsome excels incredibly at the role he is in now with Denzel opposite than them, then you're drafting to replace him. And I have a bigger issue drafting a rookie corner to take over than I would a rookie running back, mainly because I have to pretty much, to get a really solid rookie corner, I want him in the first round, and I'm not taking a running back in the first round. Look at Nick Chubb as a second round pick.
Yeah.
So when you put it to this way, the football deeming analytical brain of me says it's Denzel Ward. Now, the Andrew Berry fan in me says that Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb both make this team. You have Kareem Hunt is Nick Chubb 2.0. I say that Kareem Hunt, as talented as he is, his vision is nowhere near Nick Chubb's. You see the same situation with Kareem Hunt making runs where Nick Chubb later has that same cutback lane that Kareem doesn't see these cutback lanes. Yeah. He is physically talented. Now, Kareem will run with way more power than I ever thought he had when he came to Cleveland. I was like, wow, this guy I thought he was more of a scat back, and he is a complete back.
He is.
And you can get by with Kareem Hunt. The only way I think you feel comfortable moving forward with Kareem Hunt is Bake has to take that next level. He has to take that next step. If he does not take that next step, I'm not comfortable getting rid of Nick Chubb. I'm just not. Because with him,
Agreed.
And I think Baker takes that next step. I 100% do. But if he doesn't, this is an interesting thing talking about Dominique Felton here. Kelly weighs in and says the running back from UCLA, Dominique Felton, will replace Hunt eventually, and Chubb is the franchise for years to come. If you go back and watch week 1 of the Barking Brown show, you will hear me say when I break down Demetric Felton that I saw him as a replacement for Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about this. This is Nick Chubb's final year. He was a first-round pick. He doesn't have a fifth-year option. Kareem Hunt is a almost $7 million cap hit. If they try to re-sign him, I kind of think they're going to franchise tag him the first year. We'll see how that goes. If they re-sign him, it makes a ton of sense to move on from Kareem Hunt to take that because you've already got that committed, that $6 million cap figure. You can build that $6 million into his raise so to speak, to get him up to, let's say 11, 12, 13,
Sure.
maybe somewhere in there. And so you're really only taking an additional cap hit of about $5 million over what you would already have done. And I think Demetric Felton can play the position that Kareem Hunt plays. I think he's a better route runner because he purely played receiver. I'm telling you, his athletic testing, I don't know why, because it was horrible. But if you watch him on film, that does not line up with that athletic testing. Like, he is not the guy on film that athletic testing would say he is.
Yeah, I can't wait until we do break him down, because I've been watching clips on him, and he I believe he participated in the Senior Bowl.
Yes, he did. He was one of the fastest players down there.
Yeah, and he is shaking fellow players who are getting drafted, which is obviously what you want to see. But just watching the way he has these subtleties in his route running, it looks like that's a guy like, so Kareem Hunt would finish tied with Alvin Kamara with 5 receiving touchdowns, most for a running back in the NFL. So you look at that and you say, well, you could definitely see Felton slotting into that role. And Andrew Berry has already told us that the draft is for building for the future. And so you look at how his skill set lines up, and you look at Kareem Hunt, and you're like, okay, well, the future is Demetric Felton. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's where I think it is.
I do as well.
So we didn't get to it the way that we wanted to get to it, but I think we hit most of the big ticket items. So we're going to slide on to the schedule real quick and talk just a little quick thing. A lot of people on their shows have been doing the breakdowns of, do they win week 1? Do they win week 2? Do they win week 3? I'm not of the business of picking games in May. I'm not confident in it. I wouldn't put money on it, so I'm not going to put it out there. If you want Knicks game by game, you will go over to our good friends Bless 'em Browns podcast.
Yeah.
Where Nick and Joey Sir Yacht appeared. Was that Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday it dropped. And they did do a week by week pick, and Nick's predictions are on there.
We did. Yeah.
So you can go over there and check that out. I will pick a schedule, or I will say I will pick a record. I'm just not going to say where they are, that sort of thing. I'll get your kind of take on some parts about the schedule, and I'll tell you when I think I will be in Cleveland and where we potentially will do a live show from the Muni lot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that'll work.
Well, we'll give it a shot. See what happens. Go college try.
We'll see. We got till September. We got 5 months. We'll figure it out. Or 4 months. We'll figure it out. So I will say this that's really weird to me. The Baltimore by Baltimore is weird. I actually think it works to the Browns' advantage because they get a week off while the Ravens have to go play the very poor Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to be bad, and I'll tell you how bad they're going to be in a second. I think it plays in favor for the Browns. I still think they split the series with Baltimore. That's probably where one of the losses come from. I think the Browns, I'm very excited about the way this schedule felt. I don't like playing KC week 1 just because of the defensive starters. I said that here last week, the day before the schedule came out, that I was really hoping that wouldn't happen, but it happened, and I said, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. We'll win it anyway. I'm going with 12-5. Just because I think there's going to be some growing pains somewhere along the lines. You could easily convince me 13-4. But outside of 2 games, at Baltimore and at KC, the Browns should be favored in the other 15. 15. So 15 and 14-3. I see it happening. I can see it happen. I'm settling on 12-5. It's probably also the the crushed Browns fan in me from years past that just can't quite take that apple off the tree yet. And that's why I think I'm a little hesitant. I step back at 12-5.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot of fun. There's some weird things about the schedule. I really think that the schedule fell well because they have to play KC, but then for the next like 6 or 7 games, like they should be favored and should potentially go 7-1 at worst.
I saw there was a tweet today. I didn't read it as thoroughly as I should have, but it released like the first I want to say like 6 weeks of Browns spreads, like initial spreads. When they the Kansas City one's like 6.5, but when they open up against Houston, right now it's 13.5 favoring the Browns, which is.
And I don't care if Deshaun plays or not.
Gee, I mean, and then I think Chicago's 7 points. I mean, that's crazy to me. But now, admittedly, it will surprise no one that I am Mr. Optimistic. So
what?
when I went through the schedule with Zach, because I didn't know, I had not made an official prediction. I ended up on 14-3, and so I'm gonna stay there. That's just my ironclad. That's where I'm going. I said 10-6 last year. They beat that by a game. I would, if they hit 14-3. I think you're gonna win the division.
You're telling me based on the law of mathematics that they're going to be 15-2.
I would love that. That's exactly where I'm going. But so there's a couple things that stand out to me. Number one, I come out on the other side of this. I would rather play Kansas City week 1 because give me 4 months to let the reigning coach of the year prepare for Kansas City over 1 week or 2 weeks max. Give me 4 months to focus in on them. Because they're insane. Patrick Mahomes has never lost in the month of September in the NFL.
Never thrown a pick.
I mean, come on. Like so I don't want him week 2. I don't want him week 3 or week 4, right? Like we don't want him for
And I don't want him when I'm trying to win the division down the stretch. I don't want him when I'm trying to win the division.
Yeah.
Like
so 12-5. I was reading about this. 12-5 is pretty similar to 11 wins. Yeah. So you're like still you want to get into like the 13 plus wins area to like be more than likely firmly solidified a playoff spot.
Yeah,
because we don't want those stupid scenarios of like if this and this happen, the Browns are like the odd team out of the tiebreaker. Garbage. We don't. No more of that.
And I think that the 12-5 this year is not the 12-5 where, oh shit, I'm so glad we didn't blow that 17-point lead while I was taking a piss.
Yeah.
It's going to be a much calmer season, in my opinion. Case Keenum will play this year. I think Case Keenum will start a game this year.
Wow. Okay.
That's where I'm at. Okay. Not because of Baker's going to be in the MVP talk. I've already said that.
Yeah.
So put those two together, and that's what I'm saying.
The biggest thing to me that I figured out from going through the schedule is that the Browns' big games are so much more spread out than that of Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And like for example, I don't remember the exact order, but Pittsburgh's last month of play,
it's awful.
Tennessee, Kansas City, Cleveland, Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it's 4 straight playoff teams.
Yeah.
From last year. I mean that
probably 4 straight playoff teams this year.
Yeah,
those teams will be good again.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is like that is. I mean, so the Browns get Kansas City week 1, Green Bay way at the end, 3 straight weeks to focus on Baltimore, a nice split of Pittsburgh between like the middle and the end, and there's some like I think Arizona is probably going to be pretty good. Like that's probably going to be a good game. But you look at who the Browns play. You know what? We are I think we are significantly advantaged because we lost that tiebreaker to Baltimore and finished third in the division.
Yeah.
As opposed to because our opponents, because we play Arizona instead, and there's one other opponent. I think
It's Arizona, it's New England,
yeah.
and it's Houston.
Yeah, Houston. That's the big one.
We got Houston because they were third place and we were third place.
Give me Houston over Tennessee or Indianapolis all day. So I mean, and give me, but it's tough. But I would rather play Arizona than the Rams or the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So
easily, even though we got the best parts of the Rams defense. So yeah, so that's going to be a wrap for us here. Week 3 here with the Barking Browns show. We are very blessed for every of you that joined us. We have a very, very special guest joining us live next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m.
Wow. Yes. Look at us go.
Go follow my Twitter. It's over there somewhere. Enter for a chance to win an awesome Myles Garrett t-shirt. I'm probably going to do one myself.
All you got to do is subscribe. Please, we would appreciate your subscription to YouTube. It's free. All you got to do is click the button. And then you're just going to know when we post videos, which is every Tuesday at 8. Maybe we'll sneak in some special stuff in the future.
Some weird things, probably.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I would love that. And our video on Twitter crossed that was pinned to the top of my profile crossed over 3,000 views from last week.
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's amazing.
I would never think that anybody would listen to my voice for more than 30 seconds, let alone 3,000 people for several minutes. It's outrageous. I got into this. I wanted to do this stuff. I wanted to be on Twitter. I wanted to have this podcast. I have so many thoughts about the Browns. I'm so passionate about the whole situation, and I wanted to connect with as many people as I possibly can. I made a very good friend. Fuck. There. As a result, I've talked to so many of you. I plan to be at the week 3 home game against the Chicago Bears. Both of us live pregame from somewhere next to First Energy Stadium. Maybe it's the Muni lot. I don't know. That seems like a horrible idea, but I've been known for horrible ideas, so buckle your seatbelt.
Quick tidbit: Jacob has never been to a Browns loss. He's a winner. He's undefeated. Guaranteed victory.
That includes a game that was quarterbacked by Johnny Manziel. So if you think I'm not lucky, let that brew in your head for a couple of seconds. But I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I'm glad that you join us. I hope that you continue to join us. We will see you guys next week. And as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.